Hey, it's Hazel. So, three women have stepped forward to defend Johnny Depp in his lawsuit against Amber Heard. The first one was Winona Ryder, who dated Johnny back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, something like that. And she basically stated that he was always very kind and generous and never abused anybody, never was violent to anybody, never was violent to her. And that the allegations by Amber are impossible to believe because she just doesn't see it. You know, she didn't want to call anybody a liar, but, she didn't really understand, well, all right, let me rephrase that. She didn't think it sounded true, I guess, from what she means there. She said it's impossible to believe, and because he was always very protective of Winona and everybody he loved. Very protective. He would never let anything harm anybody, and he would always, and he was always very soft and gentle. So that's what I'm getting from it. And Vanessa Paradis said the same thing, and she went further enough to say that, it's very distressing, you know, because people still believe these false facts. And they are false because nobody, has ever seen Johnny hit Amber, including her so-called witnesses, Io Tillett-Wright and Raquel Pennington. They never saw Johnny being violent to Amber. They never saw it, you know? So, but they heard these horrific tales from Amber. So, what about eyewitnesses? The security guards never saw anything happening. Everybody saw Amber's face over at the Eastern Columbia building. She was makeup free and free and clear of bruises. She had no bruises or swelling or anything. She looked normal. And they saw her, and the security cameras caught her, the surveillance cameras. And she's still trying. But Adam Waldman said something interesting in the article about Vanessa. He said that Amber Heard's witnesses are dropping off and recanting their testimonies. That sounds interesting to me. I mean, she didn't have that many witnesses. She had two, mainly. Raquel and Aya. So, who do you want to believe? The people who saw stuff or the people who heard stuff? It all comes down to what the narcissist will do. They will push the smear campaign as far as they can push it, as far as it can go. Even though we're fighting back. Johnny Depp is fighting back, and his friends and circle are standing up for him. And there is far more, going on. There are far more witnesses that have given sworn declarations. Yep. Amber Heard, I don't see her winning this at this point. I don't see her coming up with some kind of thing that would put the judge over, that would snow him or trick him into siding with her. I don't really see how she's going to get out of this. And at this point, I'm wondering why her lawyers don't just say, I think it's time to drop it, Well, because they want the money, I mean, that's true. I mean, otherwise, they'd probably see how crazy this whole thing is. but they want money. So they'll take anything for money. But they made enough money sticking with her all this time, you know. They just want to win, you know, because that's more money. You know, winning, I guess it's a lot of money, but that's all they want. They want to throw innocent people under the bus for some kind of profit. Not necessarily money, but, well, at least not in Amber's case. But she'll have to pay Johnny something. She'll have to cough it up if she doesn't go down for perjury, which at this point, I can kind of see her going down. It just doesn't play out, you know. So I wanted to check in about that and let you all know that this is getting interesting. This is getting even more interesting. And, you know, Vanessa said the same thing as Winona. She said he was never violent toward her, and he was always kind and generous, and the directors and crew and the cast of every movie he did always loved working with him because he was so kind and humble. And then she said what she said about the false facts, which she should have said. I mean, their children had to have seen some of it, you know, which sucks, but they had to have had some kind of idea that their father was being abused. And it, you know, he might have tried to hide it and yada yada yada, but kids can pick up on these things, you know. Teenagers, little kids, doesn't matter. They can pick up on these things. And it's affected the family. So I can see why Vanessa would want to put that out there. Because she has some kind of idea. She was close to Johnny. Being the mother of his kids, they stayed in constant touch. So there you have it. Holy crap. I hope the judge does or says something about this at some point. And, you know, it's just the declarations are coming in, and that's a good thing. We have to wait till August to see this whole thing play out, but that's okay. We'll wait. I'll wait. You know, Amber will try to come up with something. But at this point, I don't know what she can do. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I will be back.